Ryan Seacrest here, and ladies and gentlemen, it's about time we get this kid back on the show. Adam Lambert is on the phone. Hey, Adam, how are you, bud?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Now, let me start with something that I asked our listeners on our AT40 Twitter what album people were looking forward to hearing most this year in 2012, and your upcoming album got the biggest response.
Wow, cool.
So your crew has missed you. Can you just, tell, I know you said before we came on the air that you're psyched to get going. Tell me about it.
I took a whole year off, writing and executive producing this album, and I believe in it. I think it's really cool, and it's a bit of a departure from the last album, and there's a lot of variety on it. And I got really into the funk music, like dance, electro funk. Worked with Pharrell Williams, which was awesome. And then I did some kind of darker stuff too. The album is going to be light side and dark side, so it's going to kind of really showcase my reality.
Now, you have a light side and a dark side of your reality?
Yeah, doesn't everybody? I think everybody kind of has, in whatever way, it applies to you. Everybody kind of has that struggle between being, upbeat and positive, and then maybe days where you're, feeling down, or, I think everybody goes through that.
Well, tell me why it's called Trespassing.
Well, on one level, I wanted it to be something where people listening could feel like they were kind of trespassing into my world, getting a closer glimpse into what makes me tick and who I really am, not just the person you see in a tabloid or the person you saw on American Idol, but really like a full, real person that, has ups and downs and makes mistakes and, is a little bit crazy and just trying to have a good time.
Well, and it seems like you're doing that. When you were on American Idol, we kind of know who's watching American Idol and what the fan base was. And then when you left and started releasing the songs that were playing on the radio, created this whole culture of Lamberts, I was thinking that and picturing him in my head that they're 20-something guys and girls who are really into your music and your style. And then I see like 65-year-old women cocktailing at shows of yours who are like in love with you.
I have a pretty broad spectrum of people that come to the shows and that I hear from, but I think that demo is really they're like my surrogate mothers, and I really love that. It makes me feel safe, and they get so excited and protective, and I find that I do have there are 20-year-old guys and girls as well, but those moms, they're coming for it.
Here are three, I think, 71-year-old nanas from Fresno. See if you can.
What do you guys like about Adam, and what was sort of the highlights of the show for you guys?
He's pretty, and he's sexy, and he sings great voice, and he's sexy as heck.
And as teenagers, who were your favorite acts back when you were growing up? Elvis. Does he bring a little Elvis in anything?
These grandmas were hammered, but they're in love with him.
They were hammered. Well, that's kind of the coolest thing is that, I can see this like wide variety of different walks of life out in my shows, and they're all just partying together.
Yeah.
So really, that's probably the best reward out of this whole thing is that it can bring people together, with music.
Adam Lambert is with us. The new single, Better Than I Know Myself, available on iTunes right now. The album Trespassing, coming out March 20th. Let's come back. I do need to ask you about your the physical love brawl that I saw you responding to on Twitter, and we'll come back with Adam Lambert and ask him about that. Adam Lambert is on the line with us right now. Earlier, we were talking about you coming on, and she said, that he's dating the winner of Turkish Idol.
And they got in a bar fight in a Turkish bar.
I said, I think your facts are wrong.
That's interesting.
I just remember waking up because it happened as we slept, and then we wake up to all that.
So
it kind of happened as I slept too, in a matter of seconds.
So the report in the States was that overnight here that you guys were out at a bar, you and your boyfriend, who was actually on Big Brother. How do you say his name? Sauli?
Yeah, Sauli. Yeah.
Sauli. And,
he was in Big Brother in Finland.
Okay, it was in Finland, and then there was a little altercation, and were you taken away?
So basically what happened was, I'd flown in from China, jet lag. There's about 3 hours of sun there a day at this time of year. So I was like trying to acclimate. I was so excited. We went out to dinner with his friends and his family. It was my first time meeting a lot of his close friends because he's been staying with me for a while here in the States. And, you know, we had a great night. We were having a lot of fun, and then just went to a third bar, had one shot too many, and just kind of, you know, lost track of what was going down. You know, the news loves to, you know, blow things out of proportion, and they turn into this, you know, violent attack, and it wasn't that at all. It was really us just being stupid and drunk. So,
but I saw some of the tweets, which were, you know, you kind of just said, learned lesson. I think that was the net of that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I really wanted, my main concern with getting on Twitter right away is I didn't want friends and fans to be concerned and misunderstand what had happened. You know, I wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going on, and luckily no one was hurt, and it wasn't really that big of a deal. I think at the end of the day, the thing that I learned from it is I walked away from it going, you know, okay, this is a wake-up call that, you know, this is not the type of behavior that I think is really appropriate. It's not setting a great example. And, you know, you live, you learn. You know, you have to learn that kind of stuff.
You guys are good? You're still in love together?
We were great the next day. I mean, we were just so thankful that nothing, you know, that we were both okay. You know what I mean?
How did you meet?
I met him actually in Finland the night of my concert there a year before.
Pulling the old Steven Tyler move, are you?
I guess so. Yeah, a little group reaction. But we just like hit it off and had a great connection and stayed in touch. And then, you know, he kept, you know, coming out to visit, and it just kind of developed. And I'm so in love, and I'm so happy, and he's like an awesome guy. We have a really, really great relationship, and this was just a weird fluke thing that happened. So
I'm glad everybody's all right. Glad you're in a happy place. Congratulations on the album coming out and the single on iTunes. Keep in touch, okay, Adam?
Yeah, man, totally. Yeah, for sure.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for the call.
All right, bye.
Later, brother. Bye. By the way, he's very smart, that Lambert. Very smart kid. Very clever.
Hardworking, focused.
Yep. And also likes to have a little fun.
Yeah.